What's going on, guys? It's Sage here with the Run 'em Down. Just out here getting everything ready for a big pig hunt that we're doing this weekend here in Texas. And I kind of realized that a lot of you guys commented on my last video where we went and hunted pigs with thermals here at a buddy's ranch. You guys were kind of wondering, what kind of firearm I'm using, the ammo I'm using, and then what kind of bait I'm using as well. So in today's video, we're going to just do a little parts list of the firearm that I'm using that I see the best hunts with, I guess you could say, and then what ammo I'm using to pair with that, and then what kind of bait I'm using to kind of get those pigs to come in a little bit faster, especially if you're running a little late on a hunt. There's certain types of bait that you can use that attracts them a little bit faster than just plain old corn. So y'all stay tuned, this should be a good one. Okay, now that we've moved into the garage, kind of out of the sun and the heat, I'm gonna give you kind of a parts list of what I use. Now, if you guys have seen my last video, you might notice that the sight up on top is a little different. Normally we run a little thermal up here. So now this is a Hydra mount. It's with the red dot on top. I have an IR laser that's coming in right now for this build. So I'm kind of switching it up a little bit, throwing the thermal on a different gun. But this is my #1 gun that I've used for hog hunting in Texas and has done me great every single time. So what this is a Gary's Firearms. This is a 10.3 inch 300 blackout. Now a lot of guys might be a little weary of 300 blackout because it is an expensive round. I think subsonics, which I do not recommend shooting at pigs. Subsonic FMJs are going to run you about a little bit over $1 a piece, which is pretty expensive compared to some 5.56 rounds. Now I will say 300 blackout has a lot more knockdown power than 5.56, but where 5.56 comes in a little bit better is you can get a little bit more distance with 5.56. Now I will say with this build that I've been running, normally I'm shooting pigs anywhere from 10 yards to 70 yards, so that's a great distance for this round. I think about the max distance that you can shoot with this round accurately, I would say, is about 150 yards, depending on what ammo and what weight you're running. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of a close-up of what we're running right here on this lower receiver. So of course we do have this Hydra mount up here that we're going to be running night vision and IR lasers off of, so that's going to be something cool and new that we're going to be doing. But basically with this lower, it was a build that was already built, so this is nothing that I've done. But I've changed out all of the stock parts to upgraded parts. So what we're running is we're going to start off with this safety. So this is the Radiant 45. So great 45 degree, nice and easy to get off, especially when you're hunting. You run up on top of a pig, which happens sometimes. You're able to really flip that on and off really, really fast instead of having to knock it down all the way 90 degrees. Now you can switch it to 90 degrees. So that is a nice little thing that you can run as well. But I just prefer the 45 degree. Going down the list, we also have a Timney 2-pound trigger in here. It's a flat trigger, as you guys can see. Now, I know there is, a lot of other trigger companies out there, excuse me. I run Geisley and a couple other guns. I run some Trigger Techs, or I've ran Trigger Techs before. Those are good triggers as well. But I just found, this is a trigger that I've been running since I was really young when I first built this gun. And this trigger really does me really, really well, especially getting on top of pigs really fast. It's nice, has a crisp break, and it's really done me well. Another thing I added is the locking pins here. A lot of people do have that problem whenever it comes to dropping in a drop-in trigger. They end up having the pins trying to walk themselves out as you're shooting, so that's a nice little upgrade. We also are running a bad lever. Now I know those are really controversial, especially in the fast shooting industry, but we're not shooting really fast. We're hunting pigs, so this makes it really, really easy to lock that slide back or lock that bolt back, and then be able to load another magazine, drop it down real fast. So this just kind of, for my sake, it just makes my life a little bit easier. Now moving down to the can that I'm using for this setup, and I actually use this on a lot of different setups. This is a Surefire SOCOM 300 SPS. I bought this off of the kiosk at Silencer Co. So great suppressor. It's a 30 cal can. It comes with the quick disconnect here on the back. So you just twist that. You'll hear it lock in onto the muzzle brake and you're good to go. Now, something I highly recommend doing, something I didn't do at first, is putting a suppressor cover on there. Now, you can do your research. There's a lot of different suppressor companies out there that are running, certain suppressor covers for different applications. So I've got this one pretty cheap. I'm not shooting really fast. I'm not shooting a lot of ammo all at once, so I don't have to worry about the suppressor cover sticking to the suppressor, and then I can never take it off. Now you can kind of see I cut it a little bit. The suppressor I got kind of hung out about halfway over this locking bead, so I didn't really want to run something that was sticking out of here. I didn't want to run something that was covering this and making it harder to put on the gun, so I just cut it back a little bit. Nothing wrong with it. Stitches haven't gone crazy on it, so that has kind of worked for me. But that just kind of protects your suppressor from scratching. Now, if you don't care about that, of course, you don't have to get one. It is a little bit bulkier, so it will throw a little bit of a shadow whenever you turn on your flashlight, but you can always get extensions for your flashlights and make it work. Now, another thing that's going to be new to my setup this year is going to be this tripod here. Now, this is the Primos Edge. This isn't the carbon fiber. This is the aluminum one. I got this one at Bass Pro Shops, I think for like 150 to 170 bucks. I can't remember exactly what I got it for. But so far, this thing has been amazing. I will say, competing with bog sticks, that was a really big contender when I went looking for a nice tripod. I think this one beats it by about a pound, maybe a half a pound. Don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but it is lighter than the bog stick. And of course, when you're running, maybe a 7 or 8 pound gun and you're running, another 5 pound tripod, that can get really heavy, especially if you're walking long ways. Which we're doing a lot here in Texas, hunting these big ranches, kind of doing land management with the pigs. It does offer the lock-on mount here, so this is kind of a grip that you use, so you can use this one to kind of turn it and everything, but this one kind of tightens it down onto the gun, makes it quick and easy. Now, Primos does offer different head attachments that you can run on your guns where it's quick disconnect and certain things like that. So there's other options that you can run. You don't have to run this option. And then again, just to kind of show you guys how this works. So, you have your mount, you take your gun, drop it in there. Of course, you want to unwind it so it can sling in there. Just twist this on, nice and tight, and then boom, your gun's sitting there. You can leave it up, sitting there, go sit down behind it, hang out, wait for the pigs to come out. And then whenever the pigs comes out, you just go right back onto it. You're already on your target. You don't have to worry about setting it up as pigs come out. So a really, really nice, innovative way to be able to stationary hunt pigs, deer, whatever it may be. And of course, one last thing that you always want to have on a good pig gun is a decent sling. Now, this one I just kind of threw on here for time's sake. This one is just an M-lock sling, 2-point sling. It works. You don't have to go and spend a whole bunch of money on a sling. Find one that works for you, that fits you, and something that you like the most. But a good sling is always really nice to have on a good firearm, especially if you're walking large ranches like we do here in Texas. You could walk, 10, 15 miles in one night looking for pigs with thermals, night vision, whatever you may be using. So having a good sling so you don't have to carry that firearm is really, really important. Now, the type of ammo that I'm using. So I've been playing around with 300 blackout ammo for a little bit just to see what works, what doesn't do as great. And I've come to find that the Winchester 150 grain Deer Season XP black tips destroy pigs. Out of a 10.3 inch barrel, I will say that the ammo right there, I've dropped many, many pigs in their tracks. Especially suppressed is where I think the 300 blackout really shines above any other caliber. Now for bait. Okay, so this is something that is extremely controversial. People use things that you would never really think of animals wanting. For instance, diesel fuel. Now I know what you guys are thinking. diesel fuel kind of sounds weird. But I will tell you now, somehow there is some kind of sweetness or smell that it drives pigs wild. Now, diesel fuel mixed with yeast and Hawaiian punch, I'm telling you now, it is a trifecta of really good times to come ahead, especially if you're holding a nice 300 blackout or a 308 or a 5.56. Now, talking to a bunch of different hunters, everyone kind of has their own little potion that they use for hog hunting that they've seen, the best outcome out of. I know with my girlfriend's dad, he likes to use Big Red soda and yeast and leave that in a bucket for a week, and apparently that drives pigs crazy. Again, everyone has their own combination. Now, what I use, so I feel like that's the most important here. What I use here in Texas depends on the day and the weather. So now, obviously, during the summertime, you're able to leave that stuff marinating in a bucket under the sun for a lot longer, makes it a little bit nastier, smells a little bit worse. Pigs love it. Now, something I use during the summertime, I'll either do Hawaiian punch, yeast, and maybe some tall boys of some type of beer, and leave that in the sun for about a week. Of course, do not pop the top all the way on. You want to let that air out. I've seen some pretty nasty accidents where those buckets swell up and they blow up, and then, nothing good comes from nasty decaying corn that's been sitting in there for a week. Now, of course, you can always throw some diesel fuel in there. Diesel fuel, for some reason, really gets pigs going. It's something that I've been experimenting with a little bit this year. The only reason I'm experimenting with it is because I've heard that it's been known to make deer sick. And of course, we don't really want that. So we've been playing with it. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. I haven't really found that it works, and it doesn't work significantly more than whenever you don't use it. So we'll play with it a little bit more, and then I'll let you guys kind of know what I've found. But of course, we don't want the deer getting sick. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I appreciate you guys tuning in to my gun build video that we have here. If you guys want to see any more videos about some of my setups or pig hunting, please leave a comment down below. We're constantly trying to go out to new ranches here in East and North Texas to get on some pigs and provide content for you guys. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until the next one.